Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. I know that as Canuck fans, we are frustrated. We want to blame someone for this struggling year. But listen. One of the people we're not talking about in this blame game is management. Let's talk about management here, and let's talk about Patrick Allvin and Jim Rutherford. Are they to blame for the rift, for all these issues? We're going to talk about it. I'm going to hit the intro and we're going to dive in. So glad you're here. Let's go. Hey everyone, thank you for being here and talking about the Vancouver Canucks. I know it's been a very, very frustrating year. The expectations are high coming into this season. There's been a lot of disappointments, and it's not just that we've lost some games, it's how we've lost games. And I get it. People want to be here and go, people want to be here and be happy. And I mean, nobody wants to lose 6-0, 5-2, 5-1. Like, they're not even competing some nights. And it started piling up. The bad losses started piling up. Then the rift happens. Well, not that a rift happens. It's been happening. But here we are, and we're in a mess. And I get it. And we want to panic. We want to say this team's done. We want to trade everyone. Canuck fans are famous for wanting to trade absolutely everyone. And it's not always a good idea. I mean, think about when we had the Twins, right? When we had the Twins, the amount of people who wanted us to trade the Twins was crazy. Was absolutely crazy. And, man, it turned out to be two of the best Canucks of all time. Now, did they win as a cup? No. But barring injury, we should have beaten Boston. We were up 3-2. We just could not overcome those injuries, and Boston was a very good team. And then Game 7 happens, and then it's despair and riot. And Canucks fans, we don't handle losing like that very well. Let's just be honest. And right now, we're kind of panicking and we're frustrated because this team is not living up to the expectations. If you think about last year, it was so amazing. It was so amazing what it was like last year, everyone. But, man, the expectations were high. But I think if you saw my video, that we need to change our mentality, right? You got to change their mentality. I think I have the graphic up here, right here. Changing our mentality. This team is not like the team last year. Then also walking through the injuries that we walked through to stars is a factor. It just is a factor. But in saying all of that, your stars are struggling. The way this roster was built, you just start to second guess. And I don't think enough of the conversation is around Allvin and Rutherford, and that's why I wanted to make this video tonight. I want to ask this question. In Allvin and Rutherford, we trust. I made a video of this very early on in the season, or maybe the off season, that we trust this management, that this management is not only trustworthy, but they always make the right decisions. But can I just tell you something? Let's pump the brakes, as Beachz says, for a moment. No management makes perfect decisions all the time. A lot of it is educated guessing. A lot of it is calculated. But even drafting, very hard to always hit on your draft picks. In fact, it seems like a big, for lack of better words, a crapshoot, right? You just don't know what you're going to get. And we, as an organization, have hit on some really great picks. Pettersson's one of them. Hughes is one of them. Thatcher Demko, I think we got him in the second or third round. Obviously, the Pavel Bure thing, but that was kind of like nobody knew that he was going to defect. So I'll give that one a pass to all the other teammates. But we've also made some major mistakes. We picked Nedved over Jaromir Jagr. We picked Juolevi over Matthew Tkachuk. And you start going down the list. We should have got Gunther and all those things. And every team has those stories. Every team has those stories. So I do give them a lot of credit. But I also want to push back and say maybe part of what this mess is Allvin and Rutherford. As much as last year was so much fun and all that stuff, and I said, hey, listen, I'm cool that we're all in, but that Lindholm trade I was not a fan of. Now it turned out pretty good for us in the playoffs, and I know they tried to re-sign him. Boston, the Bruins fans do not like that signing. They do not like that signing. Okay, but we didn't get him back. It was a rental player. That was a hefty price to pay. I didn't mind the Zadorov one because it was a smaller price to pay, but he ended up being a rental too. And we didn't beat Edmonton. And so there's a lot of, you just got to sit back and then you think, okay, and Allvin we trust, but they're not going to be perfect. But really, what's up with Canucks management? First of all, they sign, right? They sign both Miller and Pettersson, okay, to long-term deals. Everyone's like, hey, good job. We've got the middle all said done. And then now, first of all, Allvin rips into Pettersson, publicly rips into him. And now Jim Rutherford is being transparent about the rift and the need for a trade. And of course, in Jim Rutherford's style, which I absolutely love. I love his style. I love that he gives too much information. He gives too much information. Way too much information. But weren't you surprised that Allvin ripped into Pettersson? Like if Elias Pettersson is honestly a guy who has a hard time hearing this criticism in the social media, has a hard time with a guy like JT Miller, has a hard time because he's struggling. How does Patrick Allvin coming on, ripping into him and disappointed in his play, not producing at a high enough level, how's that going to help? And then you have Rutherford saying what he did. And now, granted, he said it on Monday, and the Canucks have gone on a heater. We've been on a 3-game win streak here. Everyone's saying it's bad timing. Why would you even go say it when everything is so toxic and everything is so sensitive and everything is like amplified because of the fans and because of the media and because of, we just want to know the YouTubers out there. This is driving the market. The NHL, this is the biggest story in the NHL. And they knew about this rift, and they still signed both the 8-year deals. And I think the biggest thing that everyone's nervous about, by the way, there's 156 people in here. So awesome to have everyone in here. Hit the like and subscribe. The biggest worry is not necessarily Miller or Pettersson, which it is worry, don't get me wrong. But it's like, don't mess this up with Quinn Hughes. Because we know Quinn Hughes is carrying this team on his back. I know it's a team game. I know all those things. But this guy is playing at an elite level. He's basically our Superman. He's the man. What he's doing on a nightly basis. The stats that say when he's on the ice, what happens, and when he's not on the ice, what happens. This guy is literally carrying our team. And what are we doing talking about possibly blowing this thing up? Moving 2 of our stars who are struggling. And so it's like, Allvin, Rutherford, he's like, everyone wants to trust you, but don't screw up Quinn Hughes, because if you do, the whole fan base is turning against you. I'm just saying. Just saying. You got to find a way to make Quinn happy. You got to find a way to turn this team around so we can become a contender, not just be a pretender. And in all of the problems that are going on with this team, we're still in the playoff hunt, which is wild to think about. How, with all these injuries to significant players, with this rift, with the public craziness from our management, is this team even remotely in a playoff hunt? And this is the wild thing about the Vancouver Canucks. It shows how good they are, even though they're bad. And I would say the reason why we're bad is because we're so inconsistent. One game we look like we're going to win the Stanley Cup, and 3 games we look like we're one of the worst teams in the NHL. But let's not forget, because some of you are like, don't you dare talk about Rutherford and Allvin like this. Remember, this Canucks management re-signed Myers for 3 years, brought in Soucy for 3 years, brought in Forbort, I believe is a 1-year deal, and Desharnais for 2 years at $2 million a year. They failed us with the second and third pairing. And people want to get upset about Juleson and all this other stuff, and why isn't Branston playing, and why isn't DPD up, and all this kind of stuff. At the end of the day, these are the 4 guys that they want to ride and die with. This is who they got. Now they've got the backup plan with Vilander and DPD, and I love that plan. But let me tell you right now, this Canucks management, okay, signed Myers, Soucy, Forbort, and Desharnais. And they failed. And now they're talking about not just trading one, but trading both. Both. This fan base is divided. You know me, where I land. But I'll tell you right now, I don't understand trading both players. I've heard it reported that Miller is going to be moved, and they still might move Pettersson as well. Why would they do that? First of all, I don't think they should move Miller, but I understand. If they do, I get it. I don't want the negative press. They don't want this guy who's very passionate, who's caused some rifts, have said things he shouldn't have said. You know, his passion has turned a little too high. He's a tough guy to play with or whatever, and people want to use the toxic term, cancer in the room. I'm not sure I land there. I love JT Miller. I loved how he plays playoff hockey. I love how he is hard to play against, and maybe, you know, he's hard to play with. But the lack of production from Pettersson, I get it. You want to move him? Are you worried that this contract is too much for him? The pressure to be a top 10, top 5 player? Why would they want to move both? If the problem, as some people believe, is JT Miller, then just move JT Miller and Pettersson should be fine. But no, this management, the people that you're hearing from, they're saying they're talking about both. Both. Do you think that's a good idea? I don't think it's a great idea. I mean, if you're going to get rid of one, keep the other. Do you know how hard it is going to be to find a number 1 center and a number 2 center? It's not going to be easy. Finding a number 1C and a number 2C will not be easy. Okay? Let's just rip the Band-Aid off. If we're going to trade them both, what are we going to replace them with? You know, we've talked about JT Miller going to the Rangers, and there was apparently the Rangers offered Zibanejad straight up for JT Miller, and people were like, no, don't do that. And we're like, okay. So then this trade almost happens. Hedl and Lindgren and potentially a first-round pick. That's worse probably than Zibanejad. What are we going to do to find a number one center or a number two center if you move Pettersson and Miller? Are we going to go get Brock Nelson from the Islanders? Are we going to go trade for Dylan Cousins? What's this team going to look like? And how do you keep Quinn Hughes happy? How do you not mess it up with Quinn Hughes? But you think it's hard right now, Pettersson. Imagine with JT Miller gone, how are you going to handle the pressure? If we don't get good value, if it was Hedl that came back and that's your number two center, the pressure on you, Pettersson, is now crazy. And then the management, why did they pressure Elias Pettersson into a contract last year? They basically said, hey, listen, we got a trade on the table. It's with Carolina. If you're not interested, we're going to move you. And basically he says, I don't want to sign this contract yet. I don't want to talk about contract right now. And I said, listen, we need to know. They pressure him into this $11.6 million. What if they didn't pressure him and he had that playoffs that he had? What if could we have signed him for less, like 9.9 or 10.5? Maybe he would have got more, 12. I'm not sure. Why did they pressure Elias Pettersson into a contract? Because if Petey doesn't produce, everyone, this Pettersson contract might end up as the worst contract in Canucks history. And people are like, no, Trevor, you're going way over nuclear here. There's no way that this contract will ever, because he's going to turn it around. It's been 12 months, people. 12 months. It's not been 20 games. It's not been half a season. It's been since January of 2024. Fell off the map. He has fallen off the map. And then in the playoffs, the most important place, he did not look good. And this year, he hasn't looked great. There's been moments, and you know the thing about Pettersson is he plays great against bad teams traditionally. But what about the big boys? People say, no. Mark Messier contract's one of the worst ones. Yep, I agree. Was one of them. Oh, no, Louis Eriksson, scored 30 goals in Boston, got signed for 6 years times $6 million. That was a terrible contract. He scored 11 goals the next year. He was terrible. He was absolutely terrible. He got his money. OEL, getting OEL. Terrible. Right? Like, how could this well, think about it. Pettersson's on pace to what? Get 60 points this year? Can you imagine an $11.6 million player getting 60 points? That's just not good enough, people. And that's why I say this could turn out, because this is not just like 1 year or a couple years. This is 8 years if he doesn't turn things around. Now, if he turns things around, then this might turn into a really great contract, right? So the question is this. Is management to blame? Is management to blame? Now, I want to talk about how the Canucks can turn this team around, okay? And we're going to get into that right after the promo. So glad you're here. Let's click the promo and we'll get into it. All right. So I'm going to get into your comments. I'm so glad that you're all here. 232 people here. Hit the like and subscribe, everyone. So glad you're here. I'm looking forward to getting into these comments. But I guess the question that I want to ask you is, how Can the Canucks management make this team great again? How can they make this team great again? That's a good question to ask, because if you think about it, just pause for a moment. Let's consider we're in the playoff hunt right now. With all the stuff that's going on, we're in the playoff hunt. And even though they've gone out and publicly said what they've said and been frustrated and said that they can't coexist and they're going to trade, they haven't made a deal. And why? Because they haven't gotten a deal that is worth doing yet. A lot of people are convinced that you shouldn't trade JT Miller until the offseason. Others say that you have to trade Pettersson before his no trade clause, no movement clause kicks in, which I agree with that. But the trade deadline's in 5 weeks. I wouldn't be shocked if Pettersson gets moved before the deadline. I would be a little shocked that JT Miller gets traded before the deadline, because I think you can get more value for him in the offseason, because he's going to have a better second half of the season. But can the Canucks management make this team great again if they trade Miller and Pettersson? Maybe it's possible, because if JT Miller is a toxic and he's a cancer and he's not a great teammate and nobody really likes him, everyone's just being nice and trying to do their job, and the Bessers and the Hughes of the world and the DeBrusts are all like, hey, everyone just keep peace, while these guys freak out in the locker room. Maybe it is best for him to move on from JT Miller. And maybe if you think that this contract and what you've seen with the pressure and PD can't handle it and he's not going to produce, by moving him, that would be great management to get something of value, a Natius that we could have had with Carolina or something along those lines. It would have been a good haul last year. Sounded like we were close again this year. That's one way. Canucks can make this team great again if they trade those guys and win those trades. Canucks management can make this team great again if they make the right moves or don't make the wrong ones. Like, don't make I've heard the Hedl from the Rangers and a first round pick, and they just call it a day. Don't do that, right? That's why they haven't done it. They've fielded a lot of calls. A lot of people are trying to lowball us, but at the end of the day, I keep saying at the end of the day, the good news is this: they haven't made a bad trade yet with these guys. They haven't. And I think when they get traded, they will be criticized, scrutinized, no matter what they do. I mean, it would have to be pretty significant for Canucks fans to be happy with any trade at this stage. There's going to be so much criticism if they move either one of them, because we either love JT Miller or we love Pettersson, or some just love them both. And nothing's going to be good enough. But making the right trade, even the Besser, are you going to keep Besser around? Are you going to get nothing for him? Are you going to re-sign him? Are you going to be able to get him on a hometown discount in the way of this is where he's grown up, in the way this is the only team he's ever played for? I know Minnesota is his old stomping ground, don't get me wrong. What if we are able to move some money out and bring some pieces in that are going to help this team? That's how the Canucks management can make this team great again. It's going to take a little bit of working their magic or a complete miracle. Or maybe, just maybe, all of this public talk is going to motivate these two guys to coexist, and that we will see them great again. If Pettersson and Miller are playing great this year, I bet you this team would be totally different. The attitude of the fan base would be totally different. Their struggles have amplified the challenges. So I'm going to dive into your comments. How can the Canucks management make this team great again? Okay. Over 100 comments. It's crazy. Dell says he's not blaming management. He's blaming Grogu. Popeye says the ghost of Louis Erickson is here. only one to blame, whoever manages, is Tocchet. Yeah, I know a lot of people are upset at Rick Tocchet for sure. David W. says Rutherford and Allvin had a good 2023 offseason, but seem to have not known how to deal with potentially losing Zadorov during the subsequent offseason. Team chemistry has suffered big time since. I mean, we got Dallas coming up too, right? So who's to blame? Galactus says Jim Rutherford. Green says he's typing from a Commodore 64. That's hilarious. Galactic wants us to bring Trevor Linden back. That would be awesome. I love Trevor Linden. Is that Trev or Beachz take over in the show? Yeah. Hey, listen, I wanted to look like management tonight. Got the glasses on, makes me look smarter. You know, I'm in the building. I'm all business tonight, wearing my suit. I have my Canucks shirt on though. Let's go Canucks. Okay. To keep it a little bit fun. Canuck Tony says, honestly, they have to correct the rift. Sadly, Lotto line could be gone. If trade one and then keep Besser, that's possible. But they're talking about trading two. Trade one for a decent top four. Yeah, that's possible. Rutherford built last year's team too. That's true. Chemo's in the building. The rift has been going on for years, and then Miller and Petey signed for long term, huh? Management kept Miller over Horvat. Yeah, Chemo, you bring up a great point. Now, I know that you love Horvat. I loved that they took JT Miller over Horvat. I don't think last year happens without JT Miller as being a key piece. I like Horvat. He just doesn't score the way. He's a good player. Bo Horvat's a good player. He was a solid captain, okay? But I think they kept the right guy. Everyone's saying, would you reverse that deal? I wouldn't reverse that deal even with all the drama, because last year was amazing. I don't think Bo Horvat's the answer, but hindsight 2020, a lot of people would say that was a bad trade. And why? Chemo, you're right. Why sign these guys? You knew the rift was going on, but they must have thought, no, they're going to get along. Say no to drugs, Green says. I agree with that. Say no to drugs, Green. That's one of my mantras in life. Say no to drugs. Shame on expectations for being high. Well, we had right reason. We almost made the third round. We were one goal away from tying up in Game 7. We gave the Oilers a run for their money. They lost by 1 goal. Game 7, Florida. We had a lot riding last year, but I get it. Canuck Tony says that we should have kept Bo, even though I love Miller. Time to think. I think time to move on from Miller. Okay. Best management for a long, long time. That's what you're saying these guys are. I think management is to blame where they were, and they did an awful job in the offseason. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people agree with you. Something about the Rutherford article that was that the locker room may be more divided beyond JT and Elias. And then I noticed something on the first goal against Nashville. In the celebration, Big Taco says Petey dapped up all his teammates and then completely ignored Hronek and skated away before he could even celebrate with the group. I wonder if it's vets versus kids in the room. Possible. I don't know. I feel like we're kind of reading into it a lot, but Brian says hindsight is 2020 to those who say shoulda re-signed Bo and traded JT Miller. Yeah, that's true. It's true. Hindsight is 2020. We need another D's, but we also can't lose three top forwards. Right? I know, like, you might be able to move these guys and get better defensemen, but where are we going to score? And we have a hard time shooting the puck as it is, right? But Tony says I'm not giving up on this year. And no, and you shouldn't. We shouldn't give up on this year. Dell says I wouldn't trade either. Tell them to play and focus on the game, which they've been doing lately. Hey, thank you, Alfred. Love the new look. It's been fun to kind of, I was thinking, how can I do this video tonight? I'm going to put on my suit jacket. I'm going to wear my glasses. Yeah, this baby Yoda. Where is he? He's down here. There's Grogu, and then there's this baby Yoda here. This one is really cute too. All right. Nothing in Boston is working, so it's no surprise they don't like the signing. The problem is Zadorov and Lindholm the problem isn't Zadorov and Lindholm as much as it is the Bruins being dysfunctional. Yeah, that's fair. I think Rutherford made a big mistake by being this open. I agree about it at this time. He did. I don't think he needed to. Ryan, I'm with you. Why did he do that now? It's like they took the pressure off themselves, right? This is what's wild to me. It's like they're trying to say it's not our fault, but part of it is. Let's be honest. Who's to blame? There's a lot of people to blame. I think that JT Miller and Pettersson are to blame. I think management's to blame. I think Rick Tocchet at some points has some blame to it as well. I think injuries factor in, so I'll give him a little bit of a pass there. Didn't Pettersson delete his social media? I don't know. Sources right now are saying Pettersson to Columbus. That's wild, right? Yeah, no, we explained that. Yeah. Same ones that broke the Rantanen trade. Okay. That's interesting. Petey is a bit sensitive, but Miller is going to go downhill as contract ages. Possible. Thank you so much, Brian. I appreciate that. Yeah, it is more fun to say for sure. Baby Yoda. As long as they keep Hughes and Sherwood, yeah, right. Build from there. And Joshua, yeah, I don't know. I think we need more than that. If we lose Quinn, then there's quite literally no reason to ever cheer for this franchise. Big talk, that's right. Ryan says I'm okay trading Miller, but not Petey. But that's not what the rumor is that they're both going. Everyone around us are making moves now. If they're going to be making a move, do it quickly or let it be. Jed, good point. Kuzmenko just went to the Flyers to play with Tortorella. Can you imagine if Vancouver traded Pettersson to the Flyers and Kuzmenko and Pettersson reunite on that top line under Torts? Oh, that would be there. Marcus, good to see you. I don't want to see either gone, but if you all trade Petey and then he pops off in a new market, I'm going to get even more mad. Ryan, you know what? I'm not going to get mad about that because here he's not playing well. That's all that matters. It's here. It doesn't matter if he plays great in Columbus or Nashville or wherever, Buffalo. Okay. I don't care as long as our team gets better. So if we lose Quinn, we need to trade everyone for Bedard. That's right. Absolutely.
I'm getting out of here.
Oh, my son's going to work. Son?
Getting out of here.
Have a great work. We look the same, don't we?
Yeah, I like the fit, actually. I like the fresh fit.
I'm talking about the Canucks management, son, and how they could be to blame.
Okay.
And how they might trade Pettersson. Do you think we should trade Pettersson?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I'm done with him. Every time I put money on him, done. Just crashed. Worst game ever. But
what do you think about JT Miller?
I think we need him.
Yes.
We need him.
What about Quinn Hughes?
Oh, okay. That's not even a question. Of course we need him. He's fast out there. He's the reason why I believe in blue.
Have a good shift, son.
Yeah, I will. See ya.
See ya. See you tomorrow. Going working graveyard.
Yeah.
My hard-working son. I like Myers again. Yeah, I mean that was a kind of crazy. Myers has been okay. Yeah, trading both might be a huge mistake. And Del, you're right. Don't forget, Besser was on the way out too. Petey's line mates last game had a combined 3 goals coming into that game. All Hogg. Carlson had never scored. They got a goal each. That's right. Not bad for making your teammates better. Good point. Good point. I thought he had a good night. Is the solution for the D to get all 3 game suspensions? Then they'll play as good as Myers? I don't know. That's a good question. Watch for the Canucks news tomorrow of the trade they make. Will be around 12 Pacific time. That will be interesting. That'll be very interesting, personalized. When Garland is doing more, you got to kick Pete in the nuts. Okay. Yeah, I mean Garland's out playing every one of those guys, right? Jed is like, it's the fear of Petey moving and becoming a top 5 player. I'm just going on record. I don't think that Pettersson's ever going to be a top 5 player in this league. I'm sorry. I know for all those of you people that love him, I just don't see it, especially in the playoffs. And if Miller leaving and winning the cup, I know that's what people are afraid of. Yeah. Sophie, you're right. Whatever Quinn wants, right? That's the mantra of the fan base. They would move PD too because Miller has a lot of support in that locker room, and it's potentially going to make the issue worse if he causes Miller and his family to uproot their lives. Yes, I did. I saw a Kuzmenko rumor out there about JT for Casey Middleset. I don't know if there's more to the package. Yeah, that's the Colorado one that just came out today. I like Casey Middleset a lot, actually. It's got to be more to the package. Maybe trade, likely, or just a news conference, not an announced one. Okay. If PD can't take the criticism of, hey, you need to step up, I don't know what you do with that. Exactly. What if Hughes wants them both gone? I mean, if that's what it is, then you got to move them both. Yeah, people are worried that if you move Miller or Pettersson, it's going to be Cam Neely all over again. Coming from a Finn, PD played better when Miller was on leave. That's true. Callum is in the building. Callum, on Locked On Canucks, I posted this. What is Jim Rutherford going to look like if the dressing room goes bleep, you management, and turns it all around and goes on a heater? He's going to be happy. That's what's going to happen, Callum. I know, man. Kuzmenko going to Torts, that's craziness. What was up with that player? Who was that player from Florida that they were basically offering for free? Thoughts? Any good? I don't know about that. I need to look into that more, Marcus. I don't think that they did rush PD into signing a contract. I totally think they did, but maybe I'm wrong. They gave him all the time in the world for him to reflect before signing this massive contract. And it's like, hey, twist my rubber arm, right? Ow. 11.6 for 8 years, please, no. Highest contract in our team's history, please, no. Nylander took a long time. It's true. I remember Rutherford answered, "What's the rush?" when asked about trying to get PD to sign, because the rush was if he didn't sign and we lost him, he just went and signed with someone else, tested the free agent market like Johnny Gaudreau did. That just kills a franchise, right? Sorry, I shouldn't use the word kills. Sad that the Gaudreau brothers are gone. Demko gets back to elite form. Joshua and Sherwood smash mouths, and the Lotto line are stars again. Oh, wouldn't that be great? That's how you make this team great again, right? Hughes is best friends with PD. Believe me, he wants Miller gone, that's fine. That's why they tried Miller first, but no movement clause, right? Yeah, the vets are ticked and demanding PD get traded too if Miller's gone. I mean, I don't know. Judging PD on his first playoffs, not counting, you have to count Bubble, but I don't really count it, where him and JT both had 18 points in 17 games, I believe. No. We're going to get into this. I'm going to get into this conversation in my next video. Almost 300 people in here, everyone, with Lanky as 1B backup. Yeah, that's a way that we could turn this thing around. David says you have to trade both if you want to eliminate 100% of the problem. You might have to. You don't have to trade anyone. Just buy into Rick's Talkett's thing. That's fine. Trade them together for Makar. Wishful thinking. Oh, wouldn't that be great? Also, PD earned that contract as a 25-year-old center who has already eclipsed 100 points in a season and was a point-per-game player for 400 games. It was fair market value. That's the problem, Green. And I understand what you're saying there, and you're not wrong. But where you are a little off on is this. Paying a guy 11.6 for one great season is not a good move. It's not a good move. It's just that his contract came up at the right time. Good for Pettersson, bad for us so far. I believe so, David. I don't think Rutherford is wrong about how deep the divide is in the locker room. Okay, that's true. Yeah, we could trade them both, but it might set us back a decade. Number one centers don't grow on trees. That's a fact. Do you think PD will be traded to Columbus? I don't know. Olivia. I'm not sure. Possibly. Depends what we get in return. Let Rutherford go to Biden's retirement home. Oh, wow. That's a bold statement. Mark says they are to blame. And previous management for not squashing this feud. Been going on since Green, I believe. That's a good point. Also, in a year or two, PD will not be top 5 paid player. Okay. Not even top 20. People just need to relax. I don't agree with that, Green, in the way that, like, it's a lot of money. It doesn't matter what, even if it goes up. Right now, Pettersson is being paid top 5 money. He's not top 10 player. He's not a top 10 player. He's not a top 20 player. He's like number 300th. So you want us to relax when he's so underperforming? So underperforming. PD and Besser for Bedard and Seth Jones. Oh, man. Any trade offer that includes Bedard other than trading Quinn Hughes, I'm in. I just don't think they ever do that. Okay. Let the team cook up wins. Their call out on the teams should be the team's motivator at this point. They made their point. It's up to the players now. So Callum thinks the answer is that Grogu's grandpa Jr. Grogu's grandpa JR, Jim Rutherford, applied reverse psychology on the core group, and pressure turns gold into diamonds. It's better to lose a Miller trade than a PD trade. I think there's no good time to lose a trade. Just saying. Is there a good trade where they can make it with the Flyers involving Miller, which includes Kuzmenko? I think you can get Kuzmenko, no problem. Matthew doesn't think that this management can make this team great again. Everyone says toxic. He's just his age. The young guy is so sensitive. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Miller is toxic. Pettersson is too sensitive. That's the MO. I don't know if it's a true statement or not. Off-season deal, I think. Let's try and get that playoff spot this year. Chemo, I like the way you're thinking. Good take, by the way, Callum. That diamond commercial always starts with the word Callum. Drives me nuts. I'm pretty sure it pains you more. PD and Besser for Bedard would be something I would take, but Chicago would never do that. Jed, he would never do that. Lyndon, good to see you. PD definitely acts like he's better than people. I've noticed that. That's how I see him. A bit too cocky, while being overly sensitive is a sign of overcompensating and immaturity. I think that's a fair outsider's judgment. I don't know him personally. He might not be that way, but that's the way he comes across to fans and to media, in my opinion. A trade is absurd as an outsider looking in. I agree. But we also get Seth Jones, which is absurdly back. Yeah, $9 million. 311 people in here, guys. Girls, that's awesome. Let Jim Rutherford's strategy of embarrassing JT Miller and Pettersson in the media to make them mature and smarten up work. We obviously are getting bad offers for both players. I agree. Steve, what concerns me is if we do a rebuild, Quinn says he'll leave. Yeah, that's true. So, yeah, he's available. Yeah, I'm not sure if that's good or bad. I think Dale Talon should become the Canucks president and GM and build the team. Look how he built the Panthers. I thought Pettersson started playing his game when JT left for personal reasons. Yeah, he played better for sure. Steve's like, I'm so sick of this trade speculation. But the numbers don't lie. People want to talk about this. people want to talk about this for 6 hours straight on the radio talk shows. Like it's crazy. It's crazy what. And so maybe you're sick of it. A lot of people say I'm sick of it, but we keep tuning in, right? We keep watching the games. Personalized says, insider report, Adam Boyquist is on the Canucks radar, which is news, and has received an initial phone call asking what he thinks about the city of Vancouver in British Columbia. We should have, yeah, that'd be interesting. Yeah, the four nations tournament is coming up. Sadly, Quinn won't get a rest. No, but I'm looking forward to watching him play. I'm looking forward to watching JT Miller play for Team USA. Yeah, Bo isn't going to be a 100-point player, guys. Let's just be honest. Since that trade, JT Miller has just been the better player. Let Besser go. Trade him. He's not worth $8 million per year, and it's probably an 8-year contract. Leckermack is pretty much ready to take a spot. It's fair, Jacks. Looking dapper. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Blazer fan, if we can get some decent return and try to sign Rantanen, oh, you're talking our love language. Get some cap for that guy. Rantanen and Miller would be insane. Well, Rutherford can get some rest. Pettersson and Boyquist have played before and have a friendship. That's cool. Green says we already chose JT over Horvat. Let's not choose him over PD2. We'd be 2 centers short of our 3-headed monster a few years ago. That's a good point. Our 2 youngest centers, that would be disaster. I mean, if you got rid of Pettersson and Miller and you don't get, I mean, they got to get a center in replace, but like, who is it? But you got Suter, Bluger, Amon, Ratu. That's not going to win you games. Though I want DPD to be on the Canucks roster, I don't care if it's a lefty. I'd rather have a puck movement than none. That's a good point. Green says the Rutherford thing is funny. So many fans whining about transparency. Now so many whining about his honesty. That's true. Yeah, he can't win, can he? You're right. Yeah, then signing PD on that contract rubs me the wrong way. That $47 million signing bonus is, yeah. Steve says he's out. The truth is never wrong. Okay. Trev, could you wear a green body stocking on just one of your pods? You are looking more like Grogu every passing. Thank you. Oh, is my ears growing out? You're right. You can't blame a player for signing a contract. Got to blame management for offering it then. So that's a good point. This is like an honest look at Canucks management. Are they to blame? Yeah, it's on the GM. Green agrees with that. Also, you must remember that we traded a lot for Miller with Tampa. No, just traded a first overall pick. That's it. What a great trade now. Hindsight 2020. So the apparent focus was to keep number 9 because what we gave up. Crazy to think Canucks prioritize 9 over 53. I would still, to this day, guys, prioritize JT Miller over Bo Horvat. I think he's a better hockey player. If we lose Quinn Hughes, we all need to go in on drafting Landon DuPont. Yeah, DuPont. You work graveyards in Nanaimo. Going to pray for you, man. Godspeed means God keep you safe. Yeah. Graveyard shifts are tough. Yeah, my son. It's not easy. It's not easy. Anyone who does graveyards knows. Miller will win a cup when he changes and finds Jesus. Maybe. PD will definitely be a top 5 player. Top 5 worst contract ever. I don't think he's going to be a top 5 player. I just don't think so. But maybe he is, and I hope he is for our sake. Because some people think that Pettersson's the GOAT. I mean, that's awful. The GOAT, like you're just joking around. But he does think that Pettersson's contract will age well. I don't think the contract will be bad as it ages, and when it ends, remember the cap is going to still go up. That's true. Yes, both JT and Elias need the Lord. Then they can forgive each other, swallow their pride, and play on the same team. Yeah, that's a good take. Miller is, I don't know what that. Yeah, deep down, he loves Pettersson in a very angry way. Loves him so much that he might do bad things. Oh my goodness. Jay says knee tendonitis is legit. You people have never experienced the pain before it takes time. It's easy to run your mouths from behind the screen. Absolutely. 100%. 100%. I've never had knee tendonitis, but I'm just telling you, if this is going to be a long-term injury, I'm talking about long-term, then you shouldn't have signed him. It's like Demko, right? He's great. He's great. Injured all the time. Not the same. Not the same right now. When is the injuries, and I'm not saying they're not real, like the Demko one's real. If this is the real excuse right here, this is the real reason, tendonitis in your knee, and you went and signed him, it's on management. Batch and Drance joke today of Rutherford covering his Allvin's shortcomings by pushing the Miller and 11.6 rift to the forefront. Wow. Top 5 worst contracts in Canucks history. Desharnais is number 5. That's not true. $2 million. Gar Snow, Elias Pettersson, Mark Messier, Matt Sundin. Where is Louis Eriksson on this list, brother? Where is Louis Eriksson? JT is a career .615 points per game in his playoff career. PD is 8. Oh, man. That is just so hilarious, Green, how you try to take that stat and prove anything with that stat. That A for effort, bro. A for effort. No one's getting fooled by that, man. One season isn't worth $12 million. It's true. It wasn't one great season, though. How do you amass 400 points in 400 games in one good year? That's true. True. Good point. Oh, that's valid. McIntyre gives stats on how badly 11.6 has regressed since signing his contract. He is becoming the most untradeable given the albatross they handed him. PD to Columbus for Boone, Jenner, and 2 firsts. I would do it. Use the 2 firsts to draft centers to eventually place Jenner and JT. Here's the thing. The draft is not always the best way to go about it. It is a long term if you get the great picks, right? If you get a high pick, sure. But it takes players 2 to 3 years to even make the roster. And then when they do make the roster, I mean, it's the Bedards and the Celebrinis that are already there, but it's going to take them a few years to get to that stage. So it's not a quick fix, and Quinn Hughes might not want to stick around. So 320 people in here, everyone. Does JT Miller drop the gloves against PD in the Four Nations Cup? I don't know. That's a good question. McIntyre is a Miller bootlicker. He was about to cry when Miller to the Rangers. I mean, I was upset about that. That was a terrible trade. Terrible trade, and it almost happened. Stats don't lie, and neither does Pettersson's contract. So which one is it? That he had a good playoff? Did anyone watch Pettersson in the playoffs? That was not a good playoff. Pettersson contract doesn't lie. I don't know. Is it that is bad? I don't know. Yeah. Well, just tuned in, and Trevor's looking so professional. I'm talking about management, bro. Talking about management. Miller fanboys, 32-year-old guy who doesn't play defense and yells that he's so elite. He is elite, Devin. Did you not see what he did in the playoffs? Do you not see that this guy who plays playoff hockey in the preseason, regular season, and postseason? That's the kind of guy you win with. It's the JT Millers, the Matthew Tkachuks of the world, the Sam Bennetts. You need those kind of guys. And by the way, JT Miller's a 100-point player. Got 99 one year, 82 the next year, which is point per game guy. And the following year came up with 103 points. It depends on what you mean by elite. Is he elite as a power forward? Yes. But is he elite as in he's a top 5 player? No, he's not. He's not. He's not. I wouldn't even say JT Miller's a top 10 player in the NHL, but I think he's an upper echelon player. I think he is arguably in the conversation for the best power forward. Maybe him and Matthew Tkachuk. Who else could be there? Brady Tkachuk, too. Consistent at playing bad defense. That's true. He has had some rough moments. Consistently giving up the puck. Okay, so you guys all love your Pettersson stuff. I'm literally going to do a video on Pettersson just to push back. Maybe I shouldn't say this right now. I'll just save it for the video. But you want Pettersson's consistently bad at doing? Putting up points. This 12 months, guys. We're not talking about 2 weeks. We're not talking about 20 games, 25 games, 30 games. We're talking about 12 months and the playoffs included. So you want to criticize JT Miller? Go ahead. Does he cough up the puck sometimes? Does he take the odd bad penalty? 100%. But at least he scores. At least he's causing problems for the other team against the other team. At least he's producing in the playoffs. Yeesh. Guys, you're so sensitive when it comes to Pettersson. It's like, Lord forbid you even say one thing about the guy that's true. Yeah, I think a lot of Canuck fans want to see this happen, but it's a little embarrassing, isn't it? Dale Talon built the Hawks. Bowman did nothing. Oh, interesting. I don't think he's that bad, but I mean, he's had some bad nights. Second point producer, most consistent producer besides Quinn. Matt, good job. Nice work. Miller is a UNC. He needs to go. What's UNC? Dump Miller now. Dump him? I don't know. Canuck fans, we're just used to the drama. Matt says trade Miller if you want to get worse. Oh, enjoy, right? That's my video that I did, right? This one. Trading Miller is a mistake. I made that one. Trade Miller and save this franchise. Fire talk it. Look at this. I love watching Triggered fans. Trade Miller now. Steven, happy thoughts, vibes to the families and friends involved in that air accident in DC. Yes. Yeah, that was tragic. Very tragic. Calgary just dumped Canuck legend Kuzmenko to Philly. I know, Dan. It's crazy. Miller's the second highest point per game playoff performer in Canucks history. Number 1 is Hall of Famer Pavel Bure. Wow. There you go. There you go. Yeah. I think that we're a bit sensitive to it because it's just ludicrous to think that he's not good. He's not good. To criticize that he's not worth keeping around, to criticize that he's not that good. He's not going to. I mean, this is the kind of guy you want. I mean, you guys fill your team with Petterssons. Fill your team with Petterssons. See if they win the cup. You won't. The playoffs are tough. It's for men, for people who want to battle. I think having a Pettersson guy on your team, it's good. It's good. You got to have it. But like the Mitch Marners of the world haven't won a cup either. Haven't even been to a cup final. You got to have some rough, tough guys on your team, guys. You want to get rid of all of them? You think the Canucks are soft right now? Trade Miller. We got rid of, we let Zadorov walk out the door. We're going to trade Miller. Don't have to be triggered to want JT gone. Just need eyes and common sense. Oh, come on, bro. Come on. Yeah. Green, smartest guy in the room, apparently. Can't have a different opinion. No, can't. I have said clearly. I just want to, Green, I've said clearly. I hope that Pettersson and Miller stay, turn their careers around, turn the seasons around, and we end up winning a cup with these, both of them. Both of them. But management doesn't think they can coexist. Hence, they're trying to trade them both. So this conversation that we're having about Miller versus Pettersson, they're both on the block. Both. Exactly. Triggered, yeah. Lots of adolescents in here. I don't know if they're adolescents. I just think people are entitled to their. You're allowed to have a different opinion than me. I don't mind that. I don't believe that. Miller is well behind the Sedins, Mogilny, Bure, Linden, Naslin, Kessler. I think he's talking points per game. Personalized. Trade Miller to save the franchise. Yeah, it's a kind of crazy, emotional snowflakes. Yeah, Matt, I don't know. Miller fanboys have anger issues like their idol. Okay. I wonder why passion always gets. Like, what about having a guy that looks like he doesn't care? Doesn't want to be on the team? Aren't you concerned about that? I'm concerned about that. Why would Talker re-up when he doesn't know what's going to be on the team? Yeah, I don't know. I think I'm going to... start calling me Professor Trev. Thank you. The Rev is in the building, you know. Nobody agrees that Miller is the problem. You have 8 fans supporting you. Okay, guys. Guys are getting into it now. What management needs to take blame was for hiring Mike Yo's replacement, Yogi, what's his name? Yeah, this is what we were talking about, right? Petey shows up on the regular season power play. Is that power play point per game? I don't know. Miller is the Canucks team in the playoffs. Trade Miller, dump Tocchet, save this franchise. Oh man, that's crazy. Yeah, that's fine. I understand it just turns out to be age. It's age. Age to me is not good enough. I worked night shifts before and it was painful. Yeah. Ovechkin is 19 games away from tying Gretzky's record. That's crazy. Connor says, I firmly believe we will not lose Hughes. That's awesome. I hope you're right. Let's drop the knitting circle BS. Get behind the Canucks, warts and all, or I'll drive you to the airport. Get positive, y'all. We just won 3 games in a row. We're in the playoff hunt. 2 years ago, you would have been all over the moon over that. I agree. Calvin says, I work graveyard shifts and made 2.5 to 3K every 2 weeks working at Timmy's as a baker. Wow. That's crazy. My son gets paid 60 cents more an hour to work graveyard shift. Connor, yeah, we got to give Miller what he wants. Is a Japanese term that describes a character who alternates between cold and harsh, soft and sweet. The words is often used to describe female characters in anime. That's why I don't know what that is. Now that the Flames made that move, how quickly did Canucks respond? Great trade for the Flames? I don't know. So the Canucks need to read the Bible on the bench, not the tablet. Okay. Forgive, right? Love the unlovable. Serve. Work hard. Matt, will you stop cheering this time after Miller gets traded? It depends on what we get in return, guys. I'm totally fine. And what will you do when Petey gets traded? That's It is looking bad. It's looking bad. Rutherford interview with Mason is the best thing Jim has done this year for the Canucks, putting the onus on Petey and Miller. Do you think he's just trying to save face, though, Russ? Yep. Vincent Desharnais is definitely a contender for worst contract signing. It's only $2 million, guys. Guy is hopeless. He's a secret agent working for the Oilers. Just 2 years. All right. Yeah, I know. That's the hard part. That's the hard part. Matt, you're not a Miller fan? I am. I am guilty as charged. I'm a Miller fan. The locker room will fix itself, or it must change. I feel like you're acting like Justin Trudeau. The budget will balance itself. Trev, I hope your dinner job interview went well today. Thank you. Thank you. I didn't have an interview. Actually, today was my second to last day at my job. I'm getting a new job on Monday. So it was a bit of a sad day for me because I'm leaving some really great coworkers and a great organization, but looking forward to the future. But I wore this suit jacket today in honor of the people I work for and who I appreciate a lot. And they really blessed me today. So that's the honest truth. Love my coworkers. They're amazing people. Don't compare Miller to Tkachuk and Bennett. They have cups. I mean, so they play the same style. Miller's trying to win a cup. You win cups with guys like Miller, Tkachuk, and Bennett. That's my point, and I'm right about that. So I can keep doing that. I didn't see that happening. Let's keep going down. We're at an hour and 7 minutes, everyone. Oh man, we've got so many. Okay, I think I'm going to call it a night. I'll just do one more here. Rutherford is getting lowballed. He doesn't want to trade either, and nothing has worked out so far to get them along. So he said publicly to make up, or we'll lose Hughes. That's a good point. I did talk about that one of the best things that they've done is not made bad trades yet. Ryan says, why are the PD fanboys always so defensive, quick to defend him, even when he hasn't been producing for close? I don't know that. That's my next video. So, I thought that was going to be my last one. Okay. The last one here. Eugene, Rutherford picks for this year's defense sucks. JT Miller and Pettersson need to wake up and earn those millions they get paid. I agree. JT Miller, biggest problem, and he wants to lift the cup. You know what? He might get traded to, like, if he gets traded to the Rangers and they win a cup, what are you guys going to say? You guys are all worried that Pettersson's going to go and be the next Cam Neely, which he's not even ever going to be a power forward. He's not going to be the next Crosby, everyone. He's not going to be the next, I don't know. Name whoever elite player you want. Kucherov, Draisaitl, McDavid. You know, he's not going to be those guys. Just saying. He's not going to be those guys. New York and Tampa thought JT was a locker room cancer. Yeah, it's fine. I don't care what happened there. I just care what happens in Vancouver. But yes, Chris, you're right. You're right. Maybe he is. Maybe he is just terrible. But then why did Vancouver bring him in? Right? Maybe Vancouver can grow some palm trees. Maybe Renton will sign with the Canucks. That would be awesome. Jay wants us to fire Tocchet, fire Adam Foote. Pettersson is not the next Datsuk. I don't think so. Thank you so much, Callum. You're awesome. Canucks should boo Miller and Pettersson. Oh, that would motivate them really well. The Canucks fans, that is, yeah. I don't think that's a good idea. Petey could turn it around, yeah. A lot of people are just saying that this is what they're saying, Kelvin. If we trade Pettersson and he turns into the next Hall of Famer, that's what they're saying. Don't do that. That's a bad move, right? That they're not saying he's a power forward. I was just trying to kind of rib at people there, that whole thing. So as fans, we should boo a player rather than be a fan of the team and support the team. Yeah, I know. It changes, right? All right. Thanks everyone so much for being here tonight. You guys and girls were awesome. An hour and 10 minutes, 368 people have watched this video, and please leave a comment in the comments. Thank you for all the people in the live chat. Really appreciate you. Tomorrow night, it's Friday night. I plan to live stream after the Dallas game. Looking forward to it. Hope that you come back and join me. Again, just a reminder, I have no problem if you have a different opinion than me. I can push back as well. I can handle the comments, but just glad that you're here. Glad that we can have conversations about the team that we love. I know that this fan base is divided. I have no problem that there's division on this, but I'm entitled to my opinions as well. So thanks so much for being here, everyone. Glad that you're here. Glad that we can have a conversation, and hope you have a great night. Let's hit the outro, and I'm going to go make a video called Protecting Pettersson Police. I think you're going to like that one.